Welcome. Welcome back to another episode of That CBD Girl podcast. I'm your host, Carly, the one they call That CBD Girl. And this episode is brought to you by Quartz Trading Co., where you can think natural and choose CBD to help you achieve a healthy and balanced body. So guys, today I'm really excited for this episode. I'm going to be sharing with you guys a really cool free gift, and it'll be at the end of this episode, and it's going to help you get the most out of your CBD product, whether it's from Quartz, Charlotte's Web, whatever it is that you have on your shelf at home. This guide is going to help you use it and see if it's the product for you and if it's the right product for whatever condition it is you're using it for. So make sure you listen to the full episode and mostly the end to get that free gift. As a courtesy disclaimer, please note that the FDA does not test or approve CBD for medical use, and the statements made on this podcast are not intended to treat, cure, or diagnose any illness or disease. So, I've heard a lot of people say that CBD doesn't work for them, and there's a lot of factors that goes into using CBD, so brace yourselves. This is going to be a lot of information, but it's going to help you make sure that the CBD that you've used or are trying to use is going to either work for you or not work for you. And by the end of this episode, you should know for sure if CBD in general is for you. So, in earlier podcasts, we've discussed how to use CBD, and there's several ways which play a key role in the effectiveness, but more importantly, the goal for your CBD use matters the most. You first need to address, why are you using CBD? Is it for anxiety, pain? Is it something that's inside your body? Is it on your body? Those are basically the first questions that you need to ask yourself, or the person helping you find CBD should be asking you. And if they're not, maybe rethink where you're buying it. But next, it's important to know how the CBD works, and more importantly, it's important to know that the CBD works the best once it enters your bloodstream. So how fast you can get it there matters. So some ways that you can take CBD are orally, topically, vaping, or rectally or vaginally. So sublingual is the term used for taking something under the tongue, which is important because we have a gland underneath our tongue, and that gland, which is called the sublingual gland, is connected to a main artery. So if you've ever taken any other medicines, you may have seen a pattern there where they tell you to put it under the tongue and let it dissolve. Well, that's because it's going to go through that gland and into your main artery, which means it's going to get into your bloodstream. So that is why they tell you to take it under the tongue. Now, you can also put it in your food and drinks. The positives to taking it under the tongue, like I said, are going to be, it's going to be effective to get it into the bloodstream pretty fast. But a negative is, you are still losing a little bit once you swallow the CBD, because it's going to go through your intestines, which naturally absorb whatever's going down it. So those are some things to think about, especially if you're going to put it into a drink. That could be, it's still a way to get the CBD delivered into your body, but it's not going to be as effective as holding it under your tongue. You won't get as much into your body. So another thing is vaping. This is a way we can actually get full absorption. And I know this isn't always the first thing people grab for. People don't always want to smoke something. So I just like to tell people about this option just in case, and just let people know this is the most effective way that you can take CBD, because it is going through your lungs and bypassing any intestines or stomach, and it's going straight into your bloodstream. So whatever amount or milligram of CBD that is listed in that product that you are vaping, you're going to get that full amount. So another way you can take CBD is topically, which this is going to interact with the surrounding cannabinoids on your skin, but it's not likely to enter the bloodstream. just because we do have 7 layers of skin, and not all CBD products contain ingredients to help you penetrate all 7 layers of your skin. So topically can be good for if you have any sort of inflammation on the skin or around the skin, in the skin, aches, pains, muscular things. And then vaginally or rectally. Now, this can be great for inflammation down under. People who have like endometriosis, things of that nature, you kind of put the CBD in the direct area of the inflammation. So naturally, it's going to help that area. So those are the ways that you can take CBD. Now, let's talk about when you're going to shop for your product and how you pay attention to the quality. So what you're going to want to look for is, where is the CBD from? Are you at a store that you can trust? Is it a product that is saying it's lab tested? Are the lab tests available? Is it listed as a hemp oil product? Or does it clearly state that there is CBD or cannabidiol in there? Hemp oil from the grocery store, I just want to clear this up, is not the same as CBD. I repeat, hemp oil from the grocery store or your Whole Food store is not the same as CBD. Now, when they extract CBD from the hemp plant, they are using different parts of the crop than they do for a hemp oil. So that is why you get the compounds, CBD and other cannabinoids that are in the CBD oil that is being marketed to you. So if you're going to the dollar store or a gas station or your Whole Food store and you're interested in a product, the price is great, it's cheap, and it says it's got hemp oil in it, just be very careful, even on Amazon. Yes, on Amazon. CBD is not legally sold on Amazon. So either the product is lying or it's not basically, it's just lying. Yeah. So pay attention to where you're getting your product, and yes, those few little things, lab tests are big. But next, when we're using CBD, we got to think about the way it works. So we know we have our endocannabinoid system and the 2 receptors, CB1 and CB2, which you can look up a guide on Google and it will show you dots of where these receptors are located, and they're actually pretty much throughout your entire body. But the way you take CBD will interact with these receptors differently. So that's why it's important to know about your CB1 and CB2 receptors and thinking about why you're using this product, how are you going to get it to those receptors, which receptors are going to help the condition you're using it for. So the way CBD works, think of a protein, because it's going to work similarly to how proteins work in our body. If you are trying to gain muscle or make any sort of progress with your body, we have to supplement it with protein. If we supplement our body with protein, our muscles will grow, right? Well, we can't drink a protein shake and expect to have definition the next day. We can't expect to have abs after we drink a protein shake. So you can't expect CBD to work perfectly after taking it one time. This is not Western medicine, and our bodies and minds are definitely used to the idea of Western medicine, right? As soon as you take it, you have 30 minutes and your symptoms are either gone or going away or something like that. And CBD is not the same as that. It definitely needs to be supplemented in our body, and over time, it'll bring our body back into balance and will help whatever system is failing, will help that system work its way back up and bring us essentially to homeostasis, which is our ultimate goal always. So knowing that is a big player, because I feel like a lot of people expect CBD to work the first time they use it, and that's not so much the case. So you definitely want to allow some time CBD inside your body before, or even if you're using a topical product on a skin condition, you definitely need to keep applying it for a few days before you're going to see results. But some people do see results or feel results within 30 seconds to a minute. So everyone's different. And like I said, it's just important to know how it works and what to expect and not set such high expectations for it like we do with Western medicine. So anyway, back to our CB1 and CB2 receptors and how knowing about those can help us use CBD. Well, like I said, you can definitely look up a graph on the internet and see where these receptors are located. But some of these receptors are inside of our body, and which is CB1. CB1 is located inside of our body. So there's no way to supplement CB1 without ingesting the CBD. So CB2 is located on our skin, which I don't know if you know this, but our skin is the largest organ of our body. So that's why applying CBD topically can be really effective, because you're putting it on that organ. And so when you apply it topically, you're only getting the CBD to your CB1 receptor, which can be good if it's for you. So it, like I said, it just depends why you're using CBD. And that is the most important question we're going to talk about on this podcast. Why are you using CBD? Why? Is it for anxiety? Is it for pain? Is it for eczema? Is it for depression? There's so many things that CBD helps with, but the way we use it depends how it's going to work for us. So, for reasons that have to do with any brain activity, such as anxiety, depression, or conditions not limited to, but like epilepsy, you're going to want to use a product like a tincture, or they also call them the drops, CBD oil, the stuff you take under the tongue, the stuff people tell you to put in your mouth. That's the way you can activate your CB1 receptor, which is in your brain. And so for skin issues, muscular inflammation, or any inflammation on the skin or tissues at all, a topical use will suffice. And then for immune disorders or neurological disorders, anything of that nature, using both is going to give you the best results, because you're going to want to activate both receptors in that condition. So just kind of elaborating some more on that. If you have anxiety, you're not going to want to use a topical to expect your anxiety symptoms to go away, because, like I said, that is your CB1 receptor, which is in your brain. And if you apply it topically, it's only going to interact with the cannabinoids in the area that you've applied it. And I know you're thinking, well, what if I apply it to my head? It's not necessarily the same thing, because we have those layers of skin, bones, tissue, all these things that the CBD has to make its way through, and you're gonna lose some of the CBD along the ride. So ingesting it is going to be your way to go for things like anxiety. But when we're talking like brain activity that is going into our nerves and it's causing pain, it's causing any sort of discomfort in the body, using both is going to be your best bet, because that way you're activating both of your receptors and they're both able to help your systems in your body come back to homeostasis. So basically, for any condition that doesn't have to do with only brain activity like anxiety or depression, you're going to want to use a combination of both CBD topicals and CBD tinctures. So ingesting it and applying it on the body. And that is the way you're going to get the most out of CBD for any conditions. Now, vaping. Let's go back to vaping, because I just want to explain the beauty of vaping just a little bit more. Like I said, I know it's not the most common request, but it's actually the most effective. And that brings me to the next topic, bioavailability. That's a big word, but I feel like you've heard about it. A lot of people have heard that word. And what does it mean? Bioavailability.